didn't know if you could. Huh?
Live.
Oh, I didn't know if you could hear me. Did you have me muted or something? I was
No.
talking to you. You
I,
never.
you want me to mute you?
You
I can
never
mute you. No,
so you're
no.
ignoring me. You're just
Hey,
ignoring me.
how about you? We didn't have any microphone trouble.
No, none. No trouble at all. Not at
None.
either one.
Well, I say that. Motherfucker's going to pop in the chat and go, we can't hear you.
Yeah. I don't. I don't have the chat on here. How do I get that?
Are you, dude? You've been gone so long.
No.
You done forgot. It's the Zoom. You're
yeah,
looking at Zoom. You need to be on Twitch.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't see any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do better. You do better without the comments anyway.
Yeah, I do. I like reading and talking at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not natural.
Hey man, welcome back.
Thanks. It's been a long time.
Been a minute.
Been on vacation, huh?
Been a minute.
Been on vacation.
How was that?
Yeah, it's fun. We had a good time.
Yeah.
We've gone for, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and we got some floors done. So we were in and out of the house. We couldn't be in the house while they were doing the floors. They were resanding them and putting all that shit on them and stuff. It stunk.
Fucking Florida's the promised land, dude.
Dude, we had fun down. I mean, we go down there every year, same place, Madeira, a bunch of us. So it was a good time. Well, we did have that fucking
red tide
that came in. Man, I ain't never dealt with that shit. Have you?
I've heard of it, no, but I've never been down
there.
there.
We were there a week, and then my sister and all them flew in on Saturday. So we had already been there a week, and then that Sunday morning we woke up. There was just dead fish all over the beach.
It stinks too, don't it?
Oh, dude, it smelled like a whorehouse. It was terrible. Not that I've never been in one, but I
like the green light on 7th Street.
That's what it smells like. Yeah, man, it was bad. And then that lasted the whole week. It couldn't even go out on the beach. Couldn't breathe.
Oh man!
After you start coughing.
Yeah, that should make you sick if you get in the water. I hear.
Oh, dude, people were out there. They were out there just like moving fish out of the way, swimming. Idiot, dude. Like scavengers wouldn't even eat these fish. They were just laying up. The birds wouldn't touch them. And I'm like, if nature ain't eating that shit, I'm not getting out there.
That's a good.
Like nature takes care of itself.
Yeah, so, hell yeah.
We just stayed in the pool the whole week.
Gross.
Literally.
Yeah. You know, it sucks. I mean, the pool's nice when you go to Florida, but like, it ain't the beach. I love the beach. I can stay out on the fucking beach all day. All day.
Yeah, we had fun. It was a good time. A lot of good people. Good fun. A lot of drinking.
Yeah, drank a lot.
Not as much as I had in the past years.
Why?
Honestly, I don't know why. It just wasn't. You know how like sometimes you drink and it just ain't hitting right.
Yes.
It was like that for 2 weeks. I don't know what happened.
Damn, that sucks. Being on vacation, hitting that.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Yeah.
I always hit it like when I know we're gonna go, party, go out, like the picnic. I went to the picnic. It's free beer, so you try to get fucked up. Just was not after about 4 beers, if you ain't catching a buzz, you probably ain't going to, and I just start feeling like shit.
Yeah, especially in that beer, free beer. That free beer fucks me up, man. It gets my stomach all jacked up.
Yeah. Well, I mean it's Bud Light. I mean it's they give you cans and shit. I mean Mick
Oh,
Ultra.
do they really?
Oh yeah.
I haven't been in years to the family picnic.
Why don't you go? You bring the fucking kids. They got an awesome pool.
I don't know. No reason. I just never go. I don't have a reason. Really.
You don't have a reason to go.
I don't have a reason that I haven't gone. It just sneaks up on me, and I'm like, oh shit, that's today, and then we just don't go.
Dude, I would. So for those of us listening, the fire department, or let me rephrase this: the Louisville Fire Department, you have to pick your vacation days. It was when we were doing block shit. It was like 16 months in advance, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
something ridiculous.
It's still more than a year. I mean,
still more than a year. Yeah, I think it's down to like 14 months now or whatever. But anyway, so that's kind of fucking hard to do. So what I would do is I'd find out when the fucking day of the picnic was going to be, because we get it pretty early, and I would pick the picnic. I haven't missed the picnic. I think we missed the picnic one year because we were in Mexico. No. Punta Cana, when there was 52 of us, bunch of firemen and their wives. We all went to Punta Cana, and it was during the week of the picnic, which
The one Tim went to?
the win what?
Tim, the last one Tim went to?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Tim Groff, yes.
The pathway.
Yep. Audrey Sedlock said, welcome back, Josh. Good to see you.
Thank you for not
Look at
calling
that.
me dongle.
Aww. What'd you say?
So thank you for not calling me the dongle anymore. My name.
Were you thanking me or were you thanking them?
I'm thanking her because I know you'll fucking use that dumb shit my sister came up with.
I was going to be like, return to the dongle, but I didn't.
That's
Josh
funny.
don't like it, you all. He's sensitive.
It makes me sound small and like weird. Dongle. I don't like it.
I don't know what I think. I think of this is what I think of when I think of dongle. And
I know what you think of. Like something about shitting.
What?
Something about taking a shit. A dongle.
No.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well,
I think of a limp dick like a dong that's dangling. So dongle. It
That
would
ain't
be
me. I'm on that-
dangle, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It's the first thing that comes to my mind. Is like a old fucking tree trunk.
That's what I think of too. Like small, like not
Yeah.
impressive. Like you've been in a cold pool all day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a dongle.
I'm on
Not a
it.
dick. You got a dongle.
Yeah. Tiger's
So for
blood.
everybody that doesn't know the story, a dongle is it's like a piece of audio equipment, right?
Well, yeah, it's like something that connects something to something else. Yeah. So like
a lightning drive to a USB or
yeah. I just couldn't think of anything.
mini USB to USB or whatever.
Yeah. So basically,
that's
it's
a dongle.
something typically little and limp.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
But useful. Let's not forget useful.
Yeah. Extremely useful, and everybody needs it. If you need it, that's all you need. So.
Well, Sedlock 1 says, I think of ball sacks. And yes, that's rude, so I called you Josh. Ball
How's
sacks
that?
would have been funnier, but
That's his wife, right?
yes, correct.
He said Sedlock 1. I didn't know if that was another Sedlock.
So, I got a question to ask you.
All right. Yep.
Being I am retired now and don't give a fuck what you all do. That's not true. I do. What do you think about them letting the new boys hit the streets after 18 weeks that are already EMTs?
Yeah, they've been talking about doing that. I don't know if it's official or not, but I mean, fuck, if they put all the fire shit up front and they've passed all that stuff and they're already EMTs and all they're going to do is EMT throughout the rest of drill school, I don't see a problem with it.
That's typically not how they do it,
I don't see a problem with that. I think those guys will miss out on the camaraderie class aspect of coming through the whole process together. Because, like in ours, I mean, the guys, I was an EMT, coming through and, we were able to help the other guys that weren't EMTs.
Yeah.
And now they'll miss out on that, and that was pretty critical. I mean, cause we go home and drink, we bullshit and read a chapter and watch South Park.
Yes.
And drink.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they'll miss out on that. But I mean, dude, we just need people. I mean, I don't care either way. I mean, but I don't have a problem with it. No, not necessarily. But I think those guys will miss out on a certain aspect of drill school coming out early. So I think it's cheating them more than it's bothering me.
That's a good point. And I was talking with another guy today about it at lunch, and I feel like most of your learning's done on the street anyway.
Yeah, I was talking about that yesterday. Yeah.
Hopefully, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
The place that I went when I was a new boy, there wasn't a motherfucker there that knew anything. So, I was kind of on my own to.
Yeah, I mean, used to they would come in, they would go to drill school and then go to the firehouse that night, like every third day, right?
That's true.
I mean, yeah, I mean it's you don't know how a guy's going to do on the fire department. There's no way of vetting a guy through any of the processes that we do,
right?
Until he gets to the firehouse and he has to operate with 4, 8, 10 guys.
Yeah, that's true.
For a year, because it's more about dealing with the personalities and the guys that you work with than it is the skills aspect of the job. Anybody can learn the skills.
That's a good point.
Some guys aren't motivated to learn the skills. Anybody can learn those skills. Right.
So,
but it's dealing with the guys that you work with and those different personalities.
So let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about people in our class. I'm not talking about anybody else's class. I'm talking about my class, our class. So do you not think then that I'm thinking about after, a 20-year plus career you and I had, the guys where they ended up. Or I'm sorry, you're still on my 20 plus year career. Where they ended up, how they were, their reputations on the street. I pretty much figured out who I wanted to work with in drill school, and I would have been right. Like, no one surprised me during my career. I kind of knew what they were about in drill school. And what I mean is the goofy motherfuckers, the dudes that were always fucking up, they were still fuck ups. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
the dudes totally. We knew were going to promote and be douchebags, promoted and were douchebags. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we spent 6 months together doing that shit in drill school. A guy can, lie about who he is for the first date, second date, or whatever, but 6 months, man, you can't fake that with the shit that we had to go through in drill school.
Yeah, we had some
people reveal themselves as far as their motivation and their capabilities of work, in drill school, but still a lot of it has to do with the company, like that you come out to,
totally agree.
You came out to a company that wasn't stellar at all.
Right.
I came out to a company that was
Rockstar.
It was a good, I'm talking about sevens, engine.
Okay.
I first came in, and I didn't get along with some of those guys,
right?
Initially, but they were still good firemen, regardless.
Right.
So personalities didn't mix, and I wasn't there long. And then I went to, the rock stars very quick. That's honestly, once I got the truck 4, it was like, holy shit, I've found a home. Like this is my personality.
Right.
Those guys were rough, busy, So
that was me when I went to Sixes.
And that was later on in your career, really.
I had 6 years on.
Yeah. So
6 years on. When I went, I had 6 years on when I went to 22s, and I was there a year. Okay. So basically 7 years on when I got to Sixes.
You took my place at 22.
I did. You swapped when they did the ALS engine shit.
Yeah, because I was paramedic.
And I've told the story before. I was looked down on because I was a 4th district puke. You know what I mean? So
as you should
go ahead.
As you should be looked at as a puke.
Sure. No, I agree. That was I accepted that, and we talk about coming through adversity, right? And for those of you who don't know, the firehouses that me and Josh spent most of our time at were in the 1st district, which is the busiest district in the Louisville Fire Department. Yeah, other districts make fires. I know, for all the Louisville guys listening, but nobody gets more fires than the 1st district. You can just shut the fuck up. You can be proud of the district you're in right now, but if you think that the 1st isn't the king of house fires, then you're wrong. That's just the fucking facts.
3rd's picking it up, though. South End's, becoming the West End for sure.
Yeah, sure. And the South End still makes a lot of fires. West End still has more runs than anybody does. Not, when I say runs, I mean fire runs, like house fires, structure fires. So me coming from the 4th is basically retirement homes. Like, you go out, when you make a fire out there, it is a good fire, don't get me wrong, but they're very few and far between. You don't get a lot of experience, especially when you're a new guy. So here I am with 7 years on, been in the West End 1 year, didn't do a lot at 22s, which is really, really strange. I think we made one 1st in house fire that I was on the line. Wow. Then I went to 6s, and my captain basically put me on fucking notice the first day. Like, basically told me he didn't like me, didn't want me. He got stuck with me and put me on the line, which is a position on the engine where me and him were going to make entry into a house fire, and he was going to make me prove myself to him and to everybody else I worked with, which, like Josh said, is how it should have been. Now, I didn't like it because I'm not used to doing that. So I took it very personal. And it wasn't but a few on days after that, he and I made 3 first-in working house fires. 2 were really good snot jerkers. And I remember the next on day, I went to put my stuff on the line, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Putting my stuff on the line." And he goes, "You're riding water till further notice." And that was the proudest moment, one of the proudest moments I had in my fire department career, because I'd proved to him that I didn't need to ride line. I was going to be just fine. You know what I mean? I just needed to do it. I just needed some experience.
Yeah, and most guys go through that when they first get out on the street. You went through that 7 years into your career.
Right.
So, I mean, you were already pretty much established. You know, you had the routine was, you know, you had to go through that later on in your career, which would have been tough to do. I mean, I did it in my first, first few on days.
Sure.
So, you know.
Yeah. And like I said, guys, we talk about adversity and we talk about, coddling these guys. Oh, so that's another thing I want to talk about. I can have him on the show. He said he would do the show. I would like to get him on the show just to ask him really hard questions to get himself in trouble. But he said he'd be on the show. So the district chief at drill school has said to the instructors that the plum lady is to no longer be used for punishment. 3 to 4 times use max a day. Now, before you answer, just so people listening can understand, the plum lady at our drill academy. So let me caveat this really fast. Louisville Fire Department has one of the most intense, physically demanding drill schools in the country. And the reason I can say that with confidence is being a union rep for 14 years. We went to conventions and guys would ask, "Hey, you got some Louisville?" Be like, "Yeah, 345, local 345." And they'd be like, "Dude, is y'all's physical agility like," and it's so funny. They think it's so hard. And when they're describing it to us, they're not even close to what it is. Mm-hmm. And we're like, "Yeah, man, but you do that evolution again at the end." And they're like, "What?" And in the drill academy, what's that?
I said, yeah, I get the same thing, like teaching around the country, meeting guys that have tried out for Louisville or, whatever. They're like, "Dude, that's fucking intense, the shit y'all go through."
Yeah. And when you're in the academy, when you start drill school, you get on the job, you're in drill school, you run that course every day. Every day. You run this course that at the time that I did it, when I was trying out, I played college basketball. We had some really bad practices. Guys throwing up, guys couldn't go on, all this other shit. That was the hardest physical thing I'd ever done, And now, granted, to get it in 11 minutes ain't difficult, but you ain't going to get a job just getting it in 11 minutes, depending on who you are, I guess.
Yeah, you have to get under 8, definitely.
My goal was to be under 7. Now, I didn't meet my goal. I was 7:15 was my fastest to get on. Now I ended up getting under 7 in drill school, but for a guy my size, I thought that was pretty good. But again, it's so our drill academy is very, very physically demanding. So this ladder that we're talking about, that they're saying that it can't be used as much anymore, is a fixed ladder, which means it's basically connected to the building structure, straight up metal ladder, and it's plum color, so we called it the Plum Lady. And when we fucked up, which even if we didn't fuck up, we fucked up. If we didn't do it like they wanted us to do, then we fucked up. Get on your colors. We'd get on our colors, they'd make us get in our gear, and we're going up that motherfucker. And I mean, how many times in a row? I mean, I want to say like 14 times was like. And that was one evolution of 14 trips up and down that motherfucker.
Didn't you pass out one time on it?
The day we wore well, they had us doing push-ups. Yeah. Remember that?
I was throwing up that time.
Yeah.
We had guys dropping out and throwing up.
Well, so since Audrey's listening. It was her father-in-law, which was one of our drill instructors.
Awesome guy.
He was awesome guy. Best instructor we had by far. We were we called them up and overs. Okay. So you go up the Plum Lady, you come off the other side of the building, and then you come down to fire escape steps. Okay. And there's 4 flights of fire escape steps. So not an easy way to come down. It ain't like sliding the pole down. And then we come back over, and before we went back up, he would have you knock out 10 push-ups. Well, I did 10 push-ups, and he was Sergeant 10. Sergeant Sedlock got my ass about, that's all we're going to do is 10? And so I'm like, fuck it. So I'd knock out 50. And then after 3 evolutions of that, I was doing push-ups. And if you've ever passed out before or blacked out before, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You start seeing these stars in the corner of your eyes, and everything starts to kind of funnel in. And then when you wake up again and see light, you're staring at somebody that laying over top of you going, "You okay?" That's exactly what happened to me. I was really trying to fucking show out, and he was pushing me. So this brings me to the point about the Plum Lady. And I know I didn't let you answer the first one, but I'll let you go a minute on this because I know you got something to say about it. Isn't the point of RPT, of the Plum Lady, I'm not saying this is Buds, I'm not saying this is Hell Week. What I'm saying is you need to know how to push yourself. You need to know where your limit is. You need to know how close you are to the stars. You know what I mean? Without getting to that point, because if you're passed out, and especially in a house fire, now you've become a liability. You become a problem. You're not a part of the solution anymore. So you need to push yourself, and that's a controlled environment. Maybe the last time you'll be a part of something like that again. It's the perfect place to test your mental ability, your physical ability, your fucking will to go on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you said it's not Buds, it's not special forces or whatever you said, but the consequences are still the same. I mean, absolutely. Those guys have a job to do, and they do a job that no one else can do. There's no one else to call. We also do a job. We don't have anybody to call and come in and do something when we can't do it. It's us.
Yeah, we don't have a QRF.
Yeah, exactly. So the consequences are the same. So yeah, right. The intensity of training, in my opinion, should be close to the same. It's actually I'm kind of putting together a class to teach in Wichita about that, like the incremental steps to making your training more intense, and stress inoculation and all these different things by implementing adverse weather, nighttime, all these different things in your training, because that's how we operate. And if you're always training and you're always doing everything in perfect conditions,
right?
Daylight, no rain,
right?
You're not really challenging yourself, and if you're not pushing yourself to the level of some stress. So in drill school, that Plum Lady fits that criteria for the guys, and not only that, you're doing something as a group together that builds a camaraderie, that causes you, like me. I was green 7. We talked about the colors, get on your colors. We wore jerseys that had a color and a number on it. So I was green 7. I had a guy behind me that was green 8 that wasn't in the best of shape, right? And we're talking about the Plum Lady, so I'll tell the story. And I used to have to always, when I got to the top, turn around and look over the edge and say, "Hey, come on, man, you got it. We're almost there." He'd be, 1 or 2 floors below me every time. Well, this one time, when I got to we did it, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 times, up and over on this thing.
Right.
So I turned around and was like, "Come on, man, you got it. You got it." And he got 7 stories up. He got to the last rung on the ladder and had both his hands on it, looking at me. More like looking through me, but he literally made a conscious decision that he would rather die then go one more rung and get over the top of that thing. And he just let go, man, just peeled off and it and just disappeared, man. And I was like, oh my God. You know, now we had some protection built in. We had an airbag that was rated for like 5 stories.
Yeah, 40 feet,
we're
I thought.
We're 7, huh?
I thought it was 40 feet. Was it 50?
I jumped out the 5th floor and landed on it.
So 50 feet, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But he landed, you know, we always had guys holding on to the airbag.
No, I was on the airbag.
Oh, were you? I was thinking you were on top.
I had the best seat in the house. I was on the airbag on the side facing the ladder.
Yeah.
And the time you're talking about, it was one of those, this guy always struggled with the ladder. I don't give a shit. We went up 1 time or 10 times.
He struggled with.
He struggled with it. And, you know, so people were passing him. So on a ladder that's about, what is it, 18 inches wide? No, I don't think it's that wide.
Yeah, I mean, this wide. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's that wide, like maybe 16 inches wide.
Not wide enough to be passing
the size
each
of me
other.
and Josh passing each other. Like, if Josh gets stuck or Josh can't go on or this guy couldn't go on, you were to pass him on the side and keep moving. You didn't stop. And trust me, to climb this ladder, it's hard to explain. You don't want to fucking stop. Stopping is the worst thing you can fucking do. And the instructors were yelling at him, yelling his name. Get your fucking ass up that fucking ladder. And we're on the bag going, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. And I'll never forget, you're right. He was like, he was at the top. Like he was there. You could have reached over and grabbed him. And he just went.
Maybe I should have.
Yeah, right. And then I hear, this is how fast his scream was. Ah! That was it. Because the motherfucker had already hit the bag. That's how fast he was going. And the thing with that bag is, when he hit right in the middle, thank God. He landed like this on this. He was coming down head first.
Oh yeah, he had already, his body had already inverted.
Yeah, he was swan diving in that motherfucker. And when he hit the bag recoiled. All the air went to the outsides. It knocked me back into the street. You know where the curb is?
It blew everybody off the bag.
Blew us off the bag.
He wasn't a small guy either, so he was.
Huh?
He was a big kid.
Oh yeah, he was big.
Not tall, but he was wide.
Yeah, and like I'm sitting there like, oh fuck, boom, and then you know I'm rolling and trying to. My helmet flew off, and I remember Sedlock again. So the bag now is like the edges of the bag they're 9 feet up in the air because he has pushed all the air to the outside. So he's trying to climb up the bag, you know, and he's yelling the guy's name, and then he was like, "Are you hurt?" And you don't hear anything, and I'm going, "Oh my God, he's fucking dead, And he goes, "Are you injured?" And then you hear this. I don't know if you were up top. You may have not heard this.
I'll tell you what I was doing at that time.
Okay, he goes, "I'm sorry, sir. Please don't fire me." He goes, "God damn it. I said, are you injured?" And he was going, I don't know, sir. Please don't fire me. Because they always told us, if you fall off this ladder, you better have a rung in your hand because you're fired, which that was bullshit.
It was motivation to keep you on that fucking ladder so you didn't get hurt. I mean, we had guys in the past that had fallen off that plum lady and fell between the guy I came in with.
Right.
He's dead now. So
Theo
Brock, he had fallen between the bag and the wall and busted his pelvis in like 2 places.
Broke his hip
Now they brought him back the next class.
Right.
And he, obviously passed and retired.
But now he didn't fall from that high.
No, he did. I don't know. I have no idea what floor he fell from. I'm sure he told me.
Our guy set the record, I think.
Yeah. No, man. When I saw him make that decision in his face, that he was like, I would rather not see the rest of my life than have to climb over this last fucking rung. And that's a weird look on a guy's face, man. It's a weird look if you've never seen it. And when he hit that bag, I thought he was dead. I was like, and I turned around. You know how like when you got over the top everybody would lay on that little wall just to catch a breath before you had to climb down.
Yeah.
Because there was another short plum lady on the other side.
Yes. Yeah.
It was like 2 stories before you got to the other fire escape. So we would lay up there. Of course, I turned around. I'm like, oh shit, his name is dead. You know, his name is dead. I was like, he's dead. Everybody's like, what the fuck? I was like, he's fucking dead. And then I just went on down, you know, and they're all fucking hanging over the side looking at him. And yeah, man. Remember they shut everything down and was like, get in the classroom. And I remember, but didn't they have us like singing Free Fallin' when they brought him back into the classroom? I'm thinking
no.
I can't remember. At some point they had us singing that to him.
I think that was maybe later in the week. Or it was a couple days later, because when we went back in the classroom, you couldn't have stuck a dime in anybody's ass sideways.
Do you remember his skin color?
Oh, I remember, because that's what I'm saying.
It was as white. It was as white as that skull behind you.
I was sitting in the front, right in front of the podium, right in front of the desk. He sat directly to my left, and I remember everybody sitting there going, "Oh fuck!" And I happened to look over at him, and he was like this. Like, still.
He thought he was still falling. He thought he was in the air.
Kevin Tyler, who was our drill school instructor, he thought he was still falling. Still trying to catch his fucking stomach out of his throat. Kevin Tyler, who was our drill instructor at the time, he ripped everybody's ass. Like, motherfuckers, get your goddamn head out of your asses. This shit's fucking dangerous. If you ain't fucking ready, you'll die out here. I mean, like... And everybody's like, holy shit, he ain't lying. And it was like a 7-minute ass ripping. Everybody get back on your fucking colors. And we went back out. We all got in line. They put him in front, and he went up first. And we did one evolution, and that was it. And they put everybody back in the classroom.
Yeah. But, and man, I know now that this, 23 years later or whatever, the thoughts that were going through those instructors' minds, now being the instructor and putting guys in positions that they can get hurt in, there's a lot of weight on you to that. So that scared the shit out of those guys. At that time, I didn't know that, but now, I know what they were going through, man. And I know that guy was in a bad place, falling. But those instructors were also in a pretty bad place, thinking that they potentially had hurt someone, or someone had hurt themselves, however you want to look at it.
Sure.
But yeah, man,
can you imagine that? I mean, like,
well, killing somebody. I mean, there have been plenty of firemen, dying training, and some of it from, instructors' faults. But that was his decision.
And I'm pretty sure that.
Remember they used to go through his lunchbox every day?
Oh yeah,
they'd open his fucking lunchbox up and be like, "Nah, motherfucker, you ain't eating that. Like, you can eat that turkey sandwich, but that Twinkie's gone. That juice box is gone. You're drinking water."
Are you thinking about him?
If they did that shit nowadays, I mean, our fucking HR would be jumping out of their lunchbox the next day.
I remember they come up. It was Sergeant Spola who was doing it. He was my goal team instructor who was never there, but he'd show up and he would do that. What you got today? Him motherfucker have a bologna sandwich. He'd be like, is that mayonnaise? And fucking throw it. Coca-Cola was right next door to us. I bet the guy that cleaned up that parking lot was like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then like he would have, so finally he started getting like, wheat bread, turkey, no cheese, no mayonnaise. So then Tony would go, what else is in here? And he would, remember we tried to hide him one day up in the tower?
Yeah, so and we were all sitting up there.
And Tony was like, I swear to God, if y'all don't tell me where he is, you're all doing up and over so somebody falls off. I don't give a fuck. Tony was sadistic. Like, I seriously think.
Oh, Tony, dude, you know how he treated me, and we were friends.
Yes.
That motherfucker treated me like shit. I mean, he made me do some physical shit that I don't think a lot of people could have done, honestly.
But
that was a good shape again.
But so he would fuck with this guy all the time. But let's be honest, the dude was a little overweight.
Mhm.
He needed to be in better shape, and but
Well,
So anyway, hold on. So then his wife started, like, I guess because she made his lunch. So this motherfucker's basically eating a lettuce wrap with some turkey. And
before they were cool.
Before they were cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was ketoing before there was fucking keto. So then, like, he's getting, instead of chips, he's got, like, spears of celery and carrots and shit. This motherfucker, dude, so he goes in his bag, and he's like, oh, lettuce wrap, turkey. Oh, okay, all right. Carrots and celery. I think you're fucking finally getting it. And then he goes back down the bag. I shit you not. I can't believe you don't remember this.
I might.
He pulled out a motherfucking ding dong, a Twinkie ding dong cupcake thing or something, some little Debbie's, and oh shit, I almost said his name. He goes, like he didn't know it was in there, and we're like, dude, what the fuck? You know he's coming for you every day. He goes, I don't know, man. I didn't put it in there. I don't know why.
Somebody may have put that in his fucking lunchbox.
So then the next day, we're like, dude, what? Did you check your fucking lunch? He's like, I did. He goes, I went home and told my wife, how the fuck did a ding dong get my goddamn lunch? And she goes, oh, I put that in there. I thought you've been doing so good, you deserved a treat. It was Friday.
Dude, they were ruthless,
got him
man.
Killed.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you can't do that shit nowadays. You
don't think you could do that? Oh, because you're fat shaming.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Did you not see the girl from the U.S. Airsoft team got kicked off the team? Now, I need to caveat this for motherfuckers think I'm an asshole.
The treadmill.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, what's wrong with saying that?
Fucking funny. Huh?
I mean, honestly, he just needed a sidewalk. He didn't need a treadmill. You know.
I don't know how fat is he? I mean, I don't know. But basically, the mother was beating herself up because she didn't get him COVID tested. She said she wished she'd got him COVID tested sooner. And the girl, the teammate, which she doesn't really sound like a great teammate, to be honest, but she said the motherfucker didn't need a COVID test and he needed a motherfucking treadmill. And boom. And her apology was even better, I thought.
I didn't see that.
Her apology was she was sorry for what she said because of the position it put her teammates and the team in. And she was like, if I had it to do over, I would definitely choose my words more carefully. I mean, like, she was basically saying, the motherfucker's still fat. I still stand by what I said, but I would choose my delivery and my words differently. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, look, if people
but hey, I mean,
weight,
if you look at that in the context of drill school, it's like, and the context of our job, and it's like, hey, you need to be in shape. And those were subtle little pushes like, hey, man, you can get hurt here, but you can get hurt way worse out there in the street. And physical capability matters a lot. I mean, it really does, especially at the fireman level. I mean, you're responsible for all of the tactics that are done pretty much, or at least all of the work that is behind
the execution of the tactics. Yeah. Yes.
And if you don't have that physical capability, and me and you both have been there where we've failed physically. I mean, you can't spend a 20-year plus career without ever being there.
I think you can, because some motherfuckers don't ever push themselves.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. If you're looking at it like that, I was looking at it from a really good guy's perspective.
Sure, no, you're right.
Yeah, there are guys. Yeah, sure, there are guys, and I don't even count those fucking guys. Those are guys that are just there for the T-shirt.
Right.
The T-shirt and the awards. They're not there for the job and the brotherhood. So I don't really count those.
No, you're
talking about when I'm talking about guys in the fire department, I'm talking about good fucking guys, not those fucking guys. Not at all. I give two shits about those guys, to be honest. I mean, I don't want to see them get hurt, but also, hey, go find your hiding place and get the fuck out of the way so we can do our job. People listening, I assume they think that all firemen are, complete heroes, but it isn't like that in any industry.
No.
We've read enough books. I mean, even at special forces levels, there are cowards in those positions that they have no business being in.
That's right.
And it's just a fact of life, and we deal with it. And that's why we have more than one or two guys on scene. Unfortunately, over time, we've had to add more and more guys because there are more and more guys that are like that.
That's right. Yeah, which is a shame for the profession.
Yeah. And that's a direct effect of not being able to fat shame a guy. You know, if that's what you want to call it. That sounds cruel.
But
it isn't cruel when you're trying to save the guy's life,
right,
and trying to save the other guys' lives around him.
And I don't want to sound. This is going to sound elitist, but I don't give a fuck. Because I feel like our job, it is elitist. Not everybody can do our fucking job. We're not sitting in a cubicle all day. We're not on an assembly line all day. And I'm not taking anything away from any of those jobs those people do. Everybody has their place. In a job like ours, especially a physically demanding job where not only may a civilian's life be at risk, our own and our brothers' lives may be at risk if we're not in good physical condition. You know, this is something that like when Bo put me on notice when I went to Sixes, like I could have said, hey man, you can't fucking talk to me like that. I got fucking 7 years on, bro. That's fucking creating a hostile work environment. You're treating me different than you are everybody else. Yeah, motherfucker, he is, because he ain't worried about everybody else's performance. He was worried about mine. He's in charge of the fucking company. That's at his leisure to do. But today, and we've seen it on Louisville, guys have had hostile work environments complaints levied against certain company commanders because they were talked to wrong. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm sure there's a ton of behavioral scientists that would say, well, no, you know, you've got to treat everybody the same and you can't do that. It's like, no, bro, that's not our culture. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't be our culture. You know, I mean, and every civilian out there should back that. Like, you don't want cowards in positions like that. Like, you just really don't. And you want what's the word I'm looking for? You want a community that pushes each other and themselves to be in those positions, you know, because competition.
Like, what's our unofficial motto? You know,
we do the impossible immediately. No, I'm sorry. We do the difficult immediately. The impossible just takes a little longer.
Yeah, exactly. And that is actually in essence what we do. And you can't have people that aren't capable of doing that. I mean, you can't. So,
right.
But they are trying to make it, you know, you said not everybody can do our job. They're trying to make it look like anyone can do our job.
Sure.
So they water down vetting processes,
sure.
You know, and all of that stuff. And that's fine. You know, we will still rise to the occasion. There will still be guys that are good guys. I don't care if the fire service goes on another 1,000 years.
Right.
You know, there will be good guys there to do the job.
So, and I've said this on this show before. I'll say it again because I think it bears repeating. When I got on the fire department, and some of the old timers that are listening, you can definitely adhere to this. The fire department's too fucking young. There's no fucking experience. These guys don't know fucking shit about tradition and brotherhood. 10 years later. These guys are too fucking young. They don't know nothing about tradition and brotherhood. You know, we don't have no fucking experience. 20 years later. It's the same argument. Like, yeah. It's the same argument.
Well, and you say that. You say that it is the same argument, but it's fucked up that it keeps on going.
But to your point, you know, the reason I said that was because I feel like I was reiterating your point to say we are still, that door's still going to go up, and there's going to be 4 or 5 guys on an apparatus somewhere that are going to be badass motherfuckers, and they're going to get the goddamn job done. Even if they have to take up for a company of 4 motherfuckers that are deadbeats that don't do shit, they're going to pick up the slack because we do have that hierarchy of guys that can do the job as opposed to guys that can't do the job. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I just make.
I don't know if it makes sense.
As I was saying it, I was like, I don't know if that makes sense or not.
I mean, I don't know if it makes sense to other people. It definitely makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
so when I talk,
we have guys that are performers and guys that aren't performers. I mean, that's
right. Totally.
That's everywhere. That's in the office that you work at. That's
right. Exactly.
Everywhere.
Yeah, where someone's life's not on the line.
Yeah, exactly. Consequences.
Your fucking your beef report didn't get fucking emailed in time. You know, nobody dies. You know what I mean? Nobody dies because of that. I don't know why I said beef report. That's fucking weird. What made me think about that story was I don't know what class it was. It was Brett Weedman and Leslie Prather's class. They come out to Quintin. We went to Stony Brook Mental Hospital or Old Folks Home, wherever the fuck it was. They gave us the building. Everybody had a class teach. I had a breach and wall class, which was fucking one of my funnest days on the fire department. It was so much fucking fun, destroying shit. We were just fucking destroying shit. I had them in teams. We were doing relays. We were doing races. And I'm telling you, these fucking kids from top to bottom, I didn't have a group where I was like, look at this fucking guy. The one guy, and I won't mention his name, the one guy that was obviously one of the older guys that didn't have the physical abilities that some of the other younger kids did, I've maybe been just being a dick, but I put him through a little bit rougher part because I could see what walls they're breaching because I'm on the other side. They can't. So I kind of gave him an obstacle that he was going to have to overcome after he breached where I put him at. So I was going to see how he reacted. He reacted fine, but he just physically, he wasn't in the best of shape yet. He struggled, but the motherfucker never quit. And I remember it was Chris Wall, that was one of the drill schools he was in. He said, what do you think about these guys? I said, I think it may be one of the best drill schools I've ever seen. And he was like, him and JT Bass were like, you're fucking with us. And I went, not fucking with you at all. I'm massively proud right now that my career's ending and these are the motherfuckers that are going to be here for the next 25 years. I'm massively proud right now. And he was like, you've got to tell them. They don't listen to us. You've got to tell them. I'm like, it would fucking honor me to tell these kids that. You know what I mean? And I did. And I'll never forget it. Like, it made me so fucking proud to see these guys that were just fucking had no quit in them, wanted to keep going. I mean, they were tired. So I put them through it, man. And then I seen they wanted more, and I'm like, oh, yeah. They motivated me to give them more. You know what I'm saying?
They must have been late in their training.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because, man, they called us down. They called us down to do some ventilation training not too long ago for this new class. And I mean, I'm not going to talk shit about the guys because
sure.
I expect ignorance out of recruits.
Yeah.
I mean, I expect them not to know how to do some things. I mean, but these guys, they were having a lot of difficulty with a lot of things that we were giving them. I mean, overcoming problems with their saws, how to cut holes, positioning themselves, just the ability to physically position yourself to like where to put your knee, like to be able to cut a hole off the ladder or whatever. I mean, just things that I don't know the word I'm looking for, but should come natural physically for a person to do.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I shouldn't have to say, hey man, put your knee right here. That way you can extend your body. Don't put your lead knee down and then you're putting your weight over past your balance point.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I see what you're saying.
It was weird for me.
So, but Josh, you come from a background of tree cutting, wildland firefighting. I mean, you had even volunteered before you got on Louisville. So you had a great deal of experience, even though as young as you were.
Yeah,
when did you come into fire? Were you 21 when you came in?
I was 22 on Louisville, but
22.
I started with 18.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, like, so I'm gonna take me for instance. I was and not proud of it now, but it's not nothing to be not proud of. But I mean, I went to college. I played sports. I didn't do a lot of tree cutting. I didn't do a lot of manual labor, like mechanical shit. Like, I remember the first time my fucking tire got flat at college. I'm calling my dad. And Dad was like, motherfucking, which my dad's retired firefighter too, so don't think he was, enabling me, because the motherfucker didn't. He was like, you're 2.5 hours away, fix it your fucking self. So I had to figure out how to fucking change flat tires. So life experience is different. And I know you said you weren't talking no shit about them, but like you think that is innate. Yeah. You know what I mean? And when you showed somebody, hey man, put your foot here, that way you've got more power to come down with your swing and you're better center of gravity. And I'm sure as soon as they did, they went, holy fuck, this dude's genius. He's right. It worked. You know what I mean?
And in my mind, I'm like, what a dipshit. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Everybody that's smarter than somebody else always says dipshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I get it. But, that's the reason, like, well, you're a trainer, and, I'm a pseudo substitute teacher. I have been for 20-something years, and, I always try to help kids because I know how hard things were for me, especially math. And somehow that's only the fucking teachers that want me to sub for them are algebra and statistics teachers. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, could it be anything else? Like, my worst fucking subject. But like, these kids, they struggle, and I see them struggling, and I'm like, holy fuck, man, dude, right here, me and you are the same. But we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, math just comes easier to some people. I had to really, really work at it for math to make sense to me. But, so maybe out of that, you learn to be a little bit more compassionate to our fellow recruits and
probably not.
Students.
No, compassion is for other jobs.
What?
Compassion is for other jobs, like priests and shit. That's like true. That.
That's no, I agree. I do agree to that to some extent. Yeah.
No, but I do expect a level of ignorance. Like I don't get on them for having to tell it. Like now, if this guy had 5 years on, and I'm having to tell this shit, but based on where he came from in the fire service. I mean, if he was in the first district for 5 years and still didn't know how to fucking cut a hole or lay a fucking line to a fire, it's like, man, where the fuck have you been? Right. Injured? Have you been, you gotta
off? Get out. We gotta get rid of this guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a training problem there, or a motivation problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've never had to deal with that. Sure. I mean, I've always, like I said before in this podcast, I mean, I've always worked with really good, motivated firemen. Like I've never, till recently, worked with any people that didn't love the job.
Sorry, Zach.
No, Zach. He ain't watching. No, I texted him earlier. He's not watching.
He's usually in the chat.
School. Yeah, he's doing movie night with the family.
Oh,
so.
Good for him.
It's school. Yeah, so whatever. Yeah, man. So I don't know. I didn't know we were going to talk this shit. I thought we were doing vaccine talk.
Hey, man, it's where the conversation leads us.
Oh, yeah, this is better to me. This is better for me.
Oh,
sure.
Fuck yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I expect guys not to know, especially in drill school. So I don't give them a lot of shit. But I give them enough shit to motivate them.
Sure.
And each kid is individual,
Oh, absolutely.
Because, there was one guy there that like got told to do something by a senior private, as far as he was concerned, and like gave him some shit, and that senior private handled it well. He was like, hey man, like, what the fuck? Do you want to fucking be here? I mean, what are you fucking complaining about? Wow. You got 25 fucking years left of this.
Right.
And you're bitching about it in drill school?
Right.
Like, you gotta make a fucking decision now.
Right.
And I thought he handled that really well, with that kid. I don't know what the results were from that, but That's how shit should be handled with these guys. You know,
Right.
they know what's required of them. You know,
Right. So what? All right.
well, you had a question like 30 minutes ago about something. And
About the plum lady. You
Okay.
answered it.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, I mean, it's not being used for punishment anymore, and I think that's wrong. And I'll tell this guy that made this decision as soon as I see him.
I don't think it was ever used for punishment. I don't think you can confuse.
Right.
I think people nowadays are confusing, but should not confuse punishment with motivation.
Right.
You know, there's a huge difference there. And to the layperson that's looking from the outside that doesn't do our job,
right,
it looks like punishment, but to us, it's motivation. It's
and I don't know what context this came from either. And that, this is a big thing in our culture now. We rush to snap decisions and snap judgments, and we don't know what context something was either set in, or where a new I don't want to say mandate. Jesus Christ, I want to smack myself for saying that. A new rule or something's coming from. Like there's a spirit behind it. Like it's trying to prevent something and hopefully make a situation better. Why would it? I don't know. I don't know. I'll find out. Trust me, I will find out because I shoot with this guy once a week. So, and I just learned about it. So it may not even be true. We'll find out. But real quick, 2 questions. So when you said we thought we were going to talk about vaccines, the only people that knew that me and Josh might talk about vaccines to not vaccinate was me and Josh. You motherfuckers didn't know. So Audrey, I never said we were talking about vaccines. All I said was Josh is back and we're going to have a conversation. And that's what we fucking did. And you're the one that bitches about politics all the time. So we didn't do politics. So fucking you're welcome. Instead of bitching, you can say, thanks, ABS, for not doing politics tonight. And Brandon Hawkins says, compassion comes from those who have seen and been through the worst and have learned different ways of doing things. That's pretty good.
Who the fuck is that? We just looked that shit up. I don't know who is that.
You don't know Brandon?
No. Brandon who?
He's on the fire department, bro.
That Hawkins' son?
No, fuck no. No, Brandon's a good dude, man.
How do I know? Because you say so?
I don't know. I didn't say you knew him. I said he's on the fire department. I just said you don't know him.
He's a good guy. How do you know?
Oh, I worked with him. Worked with him several times.
Okay. All right.
He's fucking stud.
Where's he at? Come on.
He was at Quint 9, but I think he went downtown.
Downtown? I'm downtown.
Nah, the real downtown. Not the faux downtown.
Come out the tall buildings downtown?
No,
or the
like shotgun downtown.
Okay, that's
the
not
real downtown.
That's Portland.
I don't know, Brandon, if you're still in the comments, where are you stationed at now? So Brandon's former military. And the funny story about Brandon real quick. So when we put the new Quints on track, Quint 9, which is actually right down the street from me where I live at, they got one. No way could drive it. So, he's back at Quint 9. Hey, Brandon.
Wait, he's at Quint 9?
Yeah, he's back at Quint 9. Brandon, you don't need to be at Quint 9, dude, but I'm really glad you are. 1402 Audubon Parkway. That's the only address you need to worry yourself about. So Brandon was a new boy at Quint 9. They detailed me over to drive because no one could drive the new trucks. So I went, and Toby Mathis was his captain. And Toby's like, hey man, Toby was laid back, cool. We worked together at UPS before I got in the fire department. And he was like, hey, he goes, Brandon's, the new guy, he's pretty squared away on that thing. So, and I'm like, okay. So I went out there. This motherfucker knew shit that I didn't know about this truck. And I'd been on it for a year before they got theirs. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's right, man. And he'd be like, yes, sir. I'm pretty certain, sir, but we can double check it, sir. And I'm like, okay. Dude, the kid was fucking one of the most squared away new guys I've ever seen in my life. So he definitely doesn't need to be at Quint 9, but you gotta have firefighters somewhere. It's not just your profession. Sophist is the new tough. Totally agree, Scott. Scott says it's not just your profession. Softness is the new toughness. Like everything is, the world's upside down. So freedom is dangerous. Knowledge is stupidity. You know what I mean? Like, so the world's upside down, brother. She said there wasn't a time. It was just based on rank. Doesn't make sense to me, but maybe it does to y'all. So one of the questions is, one of my friends just got on J-Town, and I asked her what their time had to be for physical, and she said there wasn't a time. It was just based on rank. Doesn't make sense to me, but maybe it does to you all. Is she talking about maybe being banded? I don't know. I don't know how J-Town does their process. All the J-Town dudes I know I can ask, but I don't know.
I'm sure they require that
not IFSAC.
Yeah, no, not IFSAC. That generic CPAT. Yeah, I'm sure they require that. I don't know. I have no idea what that is.
I don't know. I wish. So I know PRP and Shively are now using Louisville's Academy now, which Shively always has, right?
As far as I've been around. Yeah.
Now PRP is using it as well, which they have a former colonel that is now their chief, so it just kind of makes sense. I'm biased, I guess, but like you said, from your travels with teaching classes and my travels with union stuff and conventions, and Dave Fair was actually in the comments earlier. Talking about, some other cities that we had been to where guys were just like, one thing, Louisville has one of the oldest unions in the country as far as fire service goes. We're actually a double-digit number, which that doesn't mean nothing to you all. Originally, we were a double-digit number. I think 11 or 16. Maybe Dave's still in the chat. He can tell us. But that's a big deal because when you walk around, you have these pins on you. If you have a single-digit number, it's kind of a big deal. But then when guys find out we're Louisville, I cannot tell. I can't fucking shake a stick at as many times as someone's like, "Oh, where y'all from?" Louisville. Oh, man, y'all the ones got that crazy agility course or some shit. Yes, sir. It's crazy. It's insane. So I'm biased. But it's a sense of pride as well that, it is something you have to do to get on the fire department. It is something that you have to do because you're on probation for a year. And in that 26 weeks, 27 weeks now, whatever drill academy is, you got to run that motherfucker every day.
I'm not sure they have to. Well,
what'd you say?
I'm not sure they're running it every day now.
Are you serious? Why?
I don't know. I don't hear people say that, so I would assume that they don't. It's pretty time consuming, to get an entire drill school. Well, hell, half of them are at PRP at a different training location because we got so many guys. So there's no way those guys at the other training facility are running that course every day. They're doing like
I thought our total number was like 52.
Yeah, but they've split it, and half of the guys are training at PRP's training.
Sean Hood's saying they run it weekly.
Okay. Well, there you go. He knows.
Sam Pierce said my class ran it weekly.
He's down there
training. Ran that motherfucker every day.
Yeah.
Pussies. Oh, sorry.
It continues.
Pussies.
Man, he's pussies.
Softness is the new toughness, even back then, apparently.
Well, at least they come out. Oh, I think it even dropped like hazmat tech for those guys that come out. They come out early. So, the last decade, guys have been coming out at hazmat techs, and everything else. And I think they're going to drop that for the guys that are coming out early for this class.
They're dropping the hazmat tech stuff?
Tech stuff, yeah. That's what I heard. I don't know. Sean probably knows
something like that. They can always go back and give it to them. You
know
what I mean?
They don't. They never do.
They never do.
Fuck no. Those guys will go through their entire career trying to avoid being a hazmat tech.
Hey,
As
we
they
had
should.
some guys that failed our swim test and never had to remake it.
Well, I'm not even speaking on that. Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I passed. Now barely. Me and you both passed barely. We were standing side by side. I'm looking at the pool like, man, I've been living in Alaska for a decade. I ain't swam in forever.
I think I touched. I still
across
think.
the ice, but I
I
can't
honestly
swim.
don't think I passed. Like it, I would need slow motion replay to see if I touched the wall first before my foot hit the bottom.
You were mid pool, so there's no way you touched the wall.
No, I touched the wall. I just felt like my foot. I think my foot hit first. It was fucking close. And I remember Sedlock goes, Sergeant Sapola, did he make it? And Sapola glared at me for like a 10 count and went, just barely. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Remember they filmed all that. So
oh, did they?
Yeah,
Well, they had no fucking camera under the water.
Well, no, but they had it. Well, of course not. But they did have a camera out. Video.
Yeah.
A big ass camcorder he was carrying around.
Who,
There's
that
a
JR
whole,
dude?
No, he wasn't around then.
Oh.
We had that intern from Germany in our class. Remember? Yeah. So.
Yes. Holy fuck, man! I forgot all about that dude till just now.
What a dude, dummy! It was a girl. That was a chick.
Oh fuck! It was a chick.
Well, she was German.
There's not a whole lot of difference, I don't think.
Yeah, it's like Norwegian, German.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, you're. What's your name? Pat? Okay,
Hey,
get
pal,
it. I
buddy,
got it.
Girl.
Sean Hood said, not going to have time for hazmat. Academy was originally 26 weeks, getting shortened supposedly due to COVID. Of course it is.
Yeah, I think it's doing like 6 days
too
now.
many vacancies. Yeah, Sean. So we talked about that. We hit that a little earlier. Apparently, guys with 18 weeks on that are already EMTs and have ride time are going to be let out on the street sooner. That's just what I heard the other day from somebody that's on the department, a district chief that's on the department. I don't know if that's true or not, to help with the vacancies. Now, I assume if they haven't done EMT up front, now that's usually what they do. They do EMT up front.
Because guys fail it, yeah.
Yeah, because guys fail it, and they can get them retested before graduation. So I don't know if they changed it this time. So I would assume they didn't if they're letting EMTs already out. You know what I mean?
I'd say they're pretty confident they can get these guys through EMT training. I mean, it's not that fucking difficult. I mean, if you can't get through.
They still do National Registry, right?
Elastic, huh?
They still do National Registry test, right? I think they do. I don't think they. We don't keep it up anymore once you get on the street.
What's that?
Sean's saying correct. I don't know what he's saying. I don't know if he's talking about the National Registry or not. But
probably letting the guys out on the street.
What's that?
I say he's probably saying correct. They're going to let the guys out.
Oh,
on the
okay,
street.
Gotcha. I don't know if they're still doing National Registry. I heard they were, but
well, like I had the option of dropping it.
Yes.
So, like my paramedic is no longer national.
Right.
It's state.
So what I'm saying is that if you got to have it to graduate.
Maybe, I don't know.
But you don't have to keep it up once you get on the street, which I think is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I don't understand that either. Yeah, that's the way I understand it, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's got like a National Registry has like a fucking 78% failure rate.
Does it really?
Okay. Sean's saying correct about the guys that are EMTs coming out early. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with coming out. Bring them on. They're mandatory guys now. I mean, sometimes 3 or 4 guys a day. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's part of the job. I mean, but whatever.
Okay, Pat Dalrymple is in the chat now, which is awesome, and he says they still do National Registry EMT. What?
I said, who is that? Is he on the fire department?
He's on the fire department.
Yeah.
Well, kind of.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. He's forgettable, to be honest. So, Pat, since you're in here, sorry. No, hey, don't apologize for being late, brother. Just glad to have you. Because I have a question for you. That was
He should have been in. He should have been in here from the beginning.
I know. I wish he had been.
Yeah, let him off the hook.
So, Pat,
or not.
Is the plum lady being limited now?
He can't answer.
And
that.
what we've heard is that it can no longer be used for punishment purposes.
It never was used for punishment.
So we'll let Pat respond to that.
In the meantime, while he doesn't respond to that because he can't,
he will.
No, he can't.
Why can't he?
Because he's probably not going to say that. I'm challenging him.
He just said yes. It's true.
Good.
Remedial training. What's that fucking mean? What's remedial training?
Oh.
It's all remedial training. It's fucking drill school. It doesn't get any more remedial than that. It's not advanced training in drill school. So we'll let Pat explain himself.
He won't.
He will. You said he wouldn't answer it. He did.
He can't.
He can. He's got fucking more time than me and you.
He's got a position to hold up, man. He's got some guys jockeying to take his spot.
There is?
Pushing him out. Yeah, man. That's a coveted spot. Those guys get a take-home car and 40-hour week or 30-hour week, whatever.
Yeah. Well, we won't go there. Hey, I feel like it's just like union officials. Guys want to bitch about this and that. There's got to be some perks to doing it, or you're not going to fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, so in Drill Academy, they do have the option of working, 412s?
I don't think during drill school they do.
410s. I'm sorry, 410s.
I think during drill school they're pretty much required to be there.
I don't know.
Pat can answer.
Maybe.
He can. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Pat, question number 2.
You would know. I don't know. I've never been there.
We're just going to have Pat on and just fucking grill him like a goddamn steak.
Watch him just answer like a politician. I don't know. Or just answer.
Man. I don't think Pat would.
A completely different question that we had that we didn't even ask.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like a good politician.
Pat, just to be cool, I'm going to give you a list of questions that me and Josh are going to ask, and then we just ask him totally different questions.
Like a polygraph.
Just fucking total L ambush. This class doesn't do the plum lady as much as the class do to the class split in 2 sites.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, well, all right, Mr. Politico, that is not the answer to the question. The question was, is the plum being diminished due to punishment? That was the question.
Well, yeah, are you not allowed to? And here's the thing, like, I don't believe it was ever used.
You're not putting them on the plum.
Well, I don't believe it was ever used for punishment. I believe it was used for motivation.
Sure.
I mean, honestly. If you got good instructors down there, they're not punishing you. I mean, that's childish. We're adults. They're motivating you to be a better fireman. That's their fucking job, not to punish you.
Oh, now he's blaming the internet connection on my question. You froze. I didn't hear the last question. Okay, Pelosi. What I said was, is the plum, the usage of the plum being diminished due to punishment?
Yeah, can you not use the plum lady
for punishment?
But I don't think it was ever used for punishment. Hopefully it was never used. I don't feel like in our drill school
we use it, but not punishment. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still being used.
I don't think it ever was.
Okay.
But I think people, like I said earlier, I think people mistake punishment for motivation. Like people from the outside, they look at it and they're like, oh, those people are being punished. And we're like, no, we're motivating our individuals to be better people, to rely on each other, to push their limits, to know what their limits are. Absolutely. So that when they get out on the street, they don't kill them fucking selves
1,000%.
Or kill somebody else.
1,000%.
That's not punishment. That's motivation. Or
okay, so this is what happens though. And I see what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Pat says I agree with Josh this one time. So what I'm saying is that there was a particular guy in my group that will remain nameless that fucked up an extension ladder every time we got on it. Every time we got on it. Nobody wanted to do it with him because we would have to carry that motherfucker around the track on our shoulders. I remember getting in the shower one night and screaming because when the water hit my shoulders, I had fucking gashes in my shoulders from carrying this fucking ladder with this guy. Apparently, everybody was fucking up the ladder this day. We were doing ladders. They put us on the fucking plumb and told us to get our fucking head out of our asses, start thinking about what we're doing, get your ass on the fucking plumb. Now, is it to your point, it is motivation to get your head out of your ass and get the fucking ladder right. But in the same side of the coin, it's punishment because you didn't get your head out of the ass and you didn't get your ladder right. See what I'm saying?
No, I don't believe it's punishment.
If so facto, it's punishment.
No. You can put some Latin shit out and expect everybody to know what the
punishment is a motivator. It's a consequence. It's a consequence of not doing something correct. And if you don't have consequences, why would you do anything correct to begin with?
Well, it's a diversion of like, okay, let's walk away from that and say, hey, there are things that are harder than doing that ladder. You know, this is harder than doing that ladder. And if you can fucking do this, you can do that fucking ladder. So to me, it's a diversion. I mean, no, you disagree?
I disagree that it's harder than doing the ladder because the plumb is the fucking easiest ladder there is. Physically demanding? Absolutely. You don't have to think about anything when you do the plumb. You just got to fucking push yourself up it. Extension ladder, especially a 2-person extension ladder, heeling it, raising it. Who's going to raise it? Halyard, hands and feet clear. All that shit that they make you do.
Hands and feet queer.
Hands and feet queer. What'd you say, new boy? Hands and feet clear, sir. You know.
What'd you hear?
You know, so it's, you know, there was a lot to think about, and that's where this guy, even though he didn't look physical, he could physically do extension ladders. Anybody can physically do extension ladders. It was the mental process that he was fucking up. So therefore, by punishing us as a group, peer pressure is the best fucking pressure ever. Okay, so to your point, Josh, because you were purple team. I remember this very, very clearly because it's when Hinkle tried to smack my helmet off my face. And
get it right. I'm not letting you talk.
I thought you were purple team. Hey, so who was Green's instructor?
I was Green 7.
I don't give a fuck what you were. Who was your instructor?
I'm not saying.
Who was your Stitch? Greg Stitch was your fucking instructor. All right. So
Stitch had purple. We had Hinkle. We had Hinkle.
No, purple had Hinkle.
No,
Stitch is purple squaws.
Yeah, Green.
Okay, so Hinkle was your instructor. Okay, yeah, I apologize for making you say that because that is awful.
That's what we were.
So okay, so listen to this for the whole punishment versus motivation argument, which I think is fascinating actually. So, you know, we had to put our gear on. You got to get your gear on in fucking 60 seconds, which in drill school you were doing it in fucking 30, maybe 30 minus. Okay? So purple was beating everybody, and you guys were beating people when purple wasn't. Gold team, which I was on, 2 guys constantly fucking us up. And guess what happened? Go team had to fucking run around the track before we started doing up and overs because we were always fucking last putting our gear on.
Then you don't have to carry the ladder?
Maybe.
Around the track?
Probably.
I mean, several people had to do that. But.
Now, we had to run it in our gear, so I don't think we had to carry the ladder because we were already in gear. And they were like, go team, take a fucking lap and get in line. So y'all were already doing up and overs, and we were fucking finishing up our fucking, you know, our 200 meters and then getting in fucking line. So what I'm saying is, Mike Stinson's in the chat, and he just said, I carried Travis through drill school. I didn't even know you were in our class.
He just climbed down
off the balloon. Who the fuck were you, gray man? Fucking gray man Stinson.
No, he wasn't the gray man.
Who was gray man?
He was Skeletor.
Skeletor. I mean, Gray Man, as in the
Yeah,
dude that didn't stand out ever. He was always in the middle of the pack.
That was Jason Schmidt. That motherfucker.
That's true.
He was 007, dude. You never knew he was there, but he was a performer. I mean, he was a good dude. Didn't stick with the job.
So, and Jennifer, you're right. It was motivation to do better. It's correct, but it was still punishment. It was still a consequence to improve yourself.
Dude, let me tell you this, like a good
I don't see his motivation as making a guy fucking run in full gear around a track. That's not motivation. What's motivating about that?
A good instructor doesn't punish people at that level. Like
no argument there.
Because you want people to succeed. As an instructor, you don't want to see people fail. You want them to succeed and do better. So sometimes you have to motivate them.
Okay.
By letting them know, hey,
by punishing them. Oh, I thought you were going to say by punishing them.
Like I said a minute ago, it's like, hey, there are harder things out there than what I'm asking you to do correctly. Right? There are physically harder things that you can do. You can run with this ladder or this hose for 400 meters or whatever, right? What I'm asking you to do is more technical, and not as physical, which is raising a ladder and putting it correctly on a building.
Correct.
Fucking that up, but you can do this, right? You can do that's motivate. That's not punishment. I mean, any good instructor is not out there to just punish people and drive them down to a level that they feel like they can't do anything.
Okay. So
that's not what drill schools. It shouldn't be about.
To your point, a guy that keeps fucking up extension ladder.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you going to do to motivate him?
Well, like I just said, you would start, first of all, like you said, peer pressure is a bitch. So you would punish. I'm not going to use that word. Well, okay. In this instance, I would say you would create a situation where the rest of the group starts to help this guy
because they're being punished
succeed. They're like, hey man, because we did that in drill school. I can remember the guy we talked about earlier that fell. There was an instance where we were running the tower up and down, up and down, up and down. And Sedlock was like, hey, if you can't do it, take a break. And I knew what that meant. It was like, if you take a break, you're fucked. You're going to do more, right? And that individual took a break. And I was like, come on, man, let's do it. And he was like, no. And I was like, well, fuck it. Okay, I'll take a break with you. And me and him got punished together, That was like motivation. Like, hey, man, like I'm paying your price for what you decided to do. Like your consequence is also my consequence. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, right, exactly.
Which is directly related to the streets. Sure. Like a guy that doesn't perform, the consequence that he gets is also the consequence that I may pay, which isn't fair. But, so yeah, first thing I would do was try to get the rest of that group to motivate that individual.
Absolutely.
To do your job.
Yeah. Same thing. So when I'm in the classroom, and for those of y'all don't know, like if you've ever been in a classroom, most kids, I'm saying, when I say most, 90% of kids, maybe even a higher percentage of that in one classroom at one class, they're going to do what you fucking tell them to do. You're going to have one, maybe two that are going to fuck it up. Okay? So what I've always done, and it's fucking highly effective, I tell everybody, I always say there's a quiz. There's never a quiz. And a lot of them are worried about their grade. The good kids are always worried about their grades, right? They don't want a pop quiz. Holy shit, what's going to be on this? I don't know what this fucking is. I don't know if my grade can handle that. And I'm like, if Johnny and Bubba say one more word, and I got to call them down one more time, you all get a pop quiz. I'm sick of it. Bubba, guess what?
You teaching Bullitt County or something?
This method will work anywhere. I should fucking trademark this method.
Go ahead.
The peer pressure of the group says, hey, shut the fuck up. Yeah. My grade can't take it. I know your grade can't take it. I've seen it. I've seen kids say it to them. Like, hey, and I'm thinking, oh shit, I might have just caused a fucking fight in the hallway when this ends. You know what I mean? But I'm like, hey, but it's working. And it always works. You know, I make the group police
themselves.
The fucking shitheads.
Yeah.
Okay? So yeah, and so I want there were some really good comments. I want to hit them really, really fast.
Yeah.
Brandon says, you had to break people down to zero first, then bring them back is a way to fit the position you're instructing them to be. And I think that's what drill school does.
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
You have to break people down to zero first, then bring them back up the way it fits the position you're instructing them to be. I believe that.
Well, I believe that to a degree. I mean, there are individuals that need that. There are some individuals that don't need that. You know what I mean?
There are, and I think Brandon is talking in generality.
As a good instructor, you identify that and you apply that pressure where it's needed. It's directed pressure, you know, to that individual that needs that breaking down. Sure. Maybe he's too egotistical, you know, maybe he doesn't get it, you know, whatever. Maybe he's not performing to a level of the rest of the group. Right. But I don't believe that universally everybody, I mean, this ain't the Marine Corps.
No,
or even, but
yeah. What I was going to say is like I said, I know he's speaking generally, but so when you're teaching a group though, you're still approaching the philosophy from what Brandon is saying, and Brandon, please chime in, is the same. You're going to, your goal is, I got 30 guys. I'm breaking them down to zero and building them back up. Now, to your point, like, let's just use me and you, for instance. I don't think we needed to be broke down to zero when we were in drill school. Okay?
It's never broken to zero in drill school.
Right, exactly. They didn't break me to zero. But they're going to use us as a pivot, a pseudo instructor to help bring these guys that are being broke down to zero, that need to be broke down to zero, back up. Like, I think you guys are going to get fucking shit on too, but you're also, we know that you don't need, like, to your point, you don't need to be broke down to zero. But the philosophy, the goal is to break down the group, and we're going to be coming down together as a group.
Yeah, it's a generalization. I mean, yeah, it's generalization. But it's easier to comprehend somebody saying, we break them down to build them up.
You can't. So you can't go.
Whereas when it comes down to the instructor, he's more intelligent and knows who needs that breaking down more. And then he also identifies the people within the group that can help build that team up.
So as an instructor,
he manipulates that.
Right. Of course. But he can't go into, like me in a class. I remember I had a kid one time, I don't know how the conversation even came up, say something about like not having favorites. And I said, that's not true. I had favorites. I judged every one of you as you walked in this door. Yeah. I judged every one of you when you walked through this door. Did you come down? Did you sit down? Were you ready for class when the fucking bell rang? Or were you jacking off in the fucking hallways? Did I have to come get you and tell you there was 30 seconds before the bell rang? You know, I've already formed an opinion of almost everybody in here before you sat down in your seats.
Yeah, I judge everybody because it saves time. It saves me time. I said I judge everybody because it saves me time.
But I can't go in and instruct a class of 30 people individually at the same time. So therefore, I have to have a single-minded philosophy, as Brandon was saying. I'm breaking all you motherfuckers down to nuts and bolts, and then I'll build you back up. Now, I already know, to your point, this kid, you're pretty fucking squared away. You're going to be just fine. But if I teach to you all, 85% of the class fucking fails the test. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you teach to the lowest. I mean,
got to.
Really, I mean,
got to.
But also as an instructor, you're able to you're able to like move, you know what I mean, from a person that you know is motivated, and you're able to give him a little bit more.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's where like group leaders come from, you know, and different things like that. And you recognize leaders within a group,
absolutely,
and you're able to give them more, you know. But in the process of giving them more, they're giving their people more, you know, and hopefully they catch up, and they all graduate and remember this throughout their career and build on that.
Right.
I mean, it's a game. I mean, it's a, you know, it's manipulation, not in the negative context.
No, it's
all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's that to me, it's the greatest form of you know, a teacher, student, mentor, pupil, a relationship. Is when, you know, you can teach somebody and then one day they surpass you. I mean, that should be the goal.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
that should be the goal. So
the student becomes the teacher.
The student becomes the teacher. The student becomes the master. Pat says it's harder to teach teamwork and accountability now when you come through. Kids just don't get that now. That's a great question, and actually could probably be a really good topic for a show. You know,
now I don't disagree that it's not complicated, but I do disagree where it's like, and I'm not saying he's saying that it's impossible, but there are people out there that do say it's impossible to teach these people. But we have to, as a fire service, for it to continue and to maintain the reputation that it has, to adapt, you know, whereas we have to teach a guy what a hammer is before we teach him how to swing it. You know what I mean? Like, we're having to like go back in time and teach them what their dad should have been teaching them when they were 10, you know?
Right.
So yeah, it's more time consuming, but that's why you've seen drill school extend and extend and extend, you know, and plus they've thrown a lot more shit on us. We're not just fighting fire. We're doing EMT shit, hazmat.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so multifaceted now.
I think, but
everybody can find a place.
To Pat's point, I feel like, again, peer pressure does teach teamwork. It teaches the higher top, the top kids in the class to take the younger kids under the class, or not younger, the less advanced, the kids that need work. Let's put it that way: the kids that need work, and cultivate that, because, you know, to your point, they don't want to be motivated. They don't want to be punished because there's going to be consequences. Because you're only as strong as your weakest link. Jesus Christ. 150 anniversary of 04 shirts. Fantastic. And a little strong for a 2-hour podcast, hour and a half podcast. Get a little tongue tied like Biden. But so, you know, I there's a lot of teamwork drills that you can do to incorporate that. But again, taking a punishment, I don't want to call it a punishment. We'll call it a consequence. Let's call it that. I'll call it that. You don't want to take a consequence away from completing a task or perfecting a task, because then why perfect it? Because there's only going to be a minute part of your group that strives for that. Okay? Again, you can't teach to the top. You have to teach to the fucking bottom, like you said. You know what I mean? So I think peer pressure, to Pat's point, usually they figure it out by week 8 for the most part. Okay, well, you know, yeah.
I mean,
some of these kids have never been in sports or never been part of a group that depended on one another, never been in the military, that you know, it was all about the brother to the side of you. They're not going to – you were throwing them into the fucking deep water. You know, I played sports, thank God. So you think a kid that coming straight out of college, let's say he had his fucking silver spoon in his mouth. Let's say his daddy bought his first car for him. He never had a fucking job. He gets on the fucking fire service. He's a good kid. He don't know fucking shit. He doesn't know fucking anything. So the concept of teamwork, he's not against it. He don't know about it. he really virtually has to be taught teamwork. And hey, man, this guy to the side of you is real important. This dude you're putting a ladder up is really important. This guy you're dragging a line in with is really fucking important. This guy you're going to roof with is really fucking important. That's it's odd to us, because we grew up this way. But there's a lot of kids that don't. Does that make sense? Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Initially, I thought, this job like calls to people that want to work in a brotherhood, that want to work in a team.
For the majority, it does.
And I hate for the public to hear this, but I mean, it's going to sound bad, but it's not bad because it's really, really good for us. But we strive to do a good job because of our brothers, because of the guys we work alongside, not because of the civilians we serve. I mean, we want to be accepted in a community that is tough and that does tough things, that you wind up seeing horrible shit that speak on what you want about PTSD or whatever, but it's shit that sticks with you for the rest of your life.
Sure.
And that's a tough community. And the only people that get that are the people that are in that community. Right. So we strive constantly to get acceptance among each other.
Right.
That's
right.
And that's what creates the perfect storm for a really good company. And I've been in good companies.
Yes.
I mean, and it wasn't about saving this guy's life. It was about proving to my guys that I could do that.
Exactly.
And
count
that,
on me, man.
Yeah. I mean, and that may sound, I don't know how it sounds to other people because I only understand it one way.
Right.
Hopefully
hard to describe it to a civilian
because it is a huge motivator for guys to be really good guys within the fire service. And I imagine, Band of Brothers. Sure. I mean, shit, that goes back to like Henry V, that serving your brother, right. and doing a good job for your brother.
I think that's the reason there's the romance aspect of it with the civilian population, the first responders. They know it. They see the brotherhood, they see the camaraderie, but they've never experienced it, and it's a part of them that a lot of people I think wish they could have experienced. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. I don't think there's a human being alive that wouldn't like that experience.
I don't know, man. I think there's some
sociopaths. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some antisocial behavioral people that make up a small
anybody that gets into HR is not the type of person.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
I mean, I really do.
Those motherfuckers.
They have a different, but they have a place also. I mean, just like our government has checks and balances to keep everything fair and equal, which isn't ever fair and equal, but that's the system that is how it's supposed to work. Well, the same way with the fire service. I mean, people that call it hazing, like we don't call it hazing. It's keeping our people in check.
Right.
And it's like, hey, can you be fucked with and have some humor about it? We're gonna pull out of here and maybe tonight, maybe next week, and watch an entire family burn to death in a car.
Right.
That we were not able to extricate. And this has happened in our city.
Sure.
And are you going to be able to take that, not necessarily with humor, but are you going to be able to take that and move on? And if you can't take me fucking with you at the firehouse with a little bit of humor, well, guess what? You're not going to be able to take that. And I don't want to work with a guy that can't take that.
Right.
Because right after that run, you may make another worse than that.
Right.
And you don't know.
The way I always looked at it is can you put your fucking ego aside? Can you put yourself aside for the team? in a firehouse, a fire company, a truck company, it's a team. You're on a fucking team. There's a coach, there's a superstar, there's role players. You might be a championship team, you might not be. You might not even make the fucking playoffs. I've always looked at the fire service that way. And it's also, can you function? So if I'm fucking with you because we made a car fire the night before and you forgot to fill the fucking booster tank, and we came out on another car fire or a dumpster fire because there's a fucking jackass dropping firecrackers in dumpsters in Portland, and we're low on tank water because New Boy forgot to fucking fill the tank up, and I get in his ass and he fucking loses his shit. He's not going to function when we got to pull the burnt kid out of the fucking second floor.
Yeah.
He's not going to function when we ride up on a car scene and there's 3 people fucking destroyed, but there's one that's clinging to dear life, and I need help doing fucking CPR and managing bleeding.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And again, you said it earlier in the podcast, stress inoculation. It's a huge thing. I'm not good at it. I'm an avid shooter. So, to simulate bullets flying around while you're trying to shoot a target, really fucking hard to do. It's impossible, right? So what you do is you try to stress inoculate. You can either get your heart rate up by doing burpees or something before you grab your rifle, or you can use a shot timer, which being on a timer creates this stress. Like, oh shit, I'm timed. I gotta fucking, you see what I'm saying? So
yeah, but not only are you timed, the guys that you're shooting with are timed.
Exactly.
So there's a competition there,
Exactly.
And you want to do a good job, and you want to prove that, hey, we're going to know who's the best at this. Not to say that person's going to be the best forever,
right?
But you're going to let them know that, hey, I fit in. I can perform to a level,
right?
It is acceptable.
I have to say this comment because it's fucking true, and she was on the fire department fucking 20 plus years as well. Jennifer Rogers says, "If I don't fuck with you, I don't like you."
Yeah, that's
and that's
absolutely true.
So true.
That actually happened to me recently, where I ran into a guy, and it was like, I don't even know how much I can speak on this, but anyway, I ran into a guy, and I was in a situation where I could have fucked with him, but I was like, nah, fuck that guy. Like the message is sent more that I don't even fuck with you, that I don't even waste my time to try to make you better, because
right.
I know that you've already made the fucking decision that you don't want to be better.
That's a sad place.
So I'm going to waste my energy somewhere else.
Right. It's not even fun, but I fuck with people that I like because it's fun.
What's that?
I fuck with people that I like because it's fun.
Well, and not only because it's fun, because you want to make them better.
Well, sure, that's a benefit. That's a side benefit to me. If it's not fun for me to do it because I don't like this person, I'm not going to do it to make him better. Because, like you said, I already feel like he's made his decision. You know what I mean? Well,
yeah. I mean, and I do it with fun too, because I'm not an complete.
That's my first motivator, I guess.
I'm not a complete asshole like most guys think I am. I do it. Sometimes I do shit that's only funny to me, but either way, I'm doing it because I care about you,
Right. Well, you care about the company too.
Really
it's a synergetic effect, right?
Well,
like the sum of parts is greater than the whole. And that's what you want. It's a synergetic effect. Like, so you fuck with this guy, because you want to because you like him and you're making him better. You making him better makes the company better. The company being better makes everybody better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it brings that that baseline level higher. Like I said, the baseline of certain firehouses is higher than others. 6s, it's higher. Truck 4, it's higher.
Just always.
Where Hawkins is at, Quint 9, it's definitely really low.
Right.
I
mean, not to say they're not great guys. I don't know who's there.
No, I'm not either. But I'm saying that the thing is that you can send a piece of shit guy to a firehouse that has a baseline that's higher, and he will rise. Not maybe necessarily to that level, but he will rise a little bit.
His potential's limited no matter what.
Yeah,
you're going to get more out of that guy than you ever got than if he was at Quintin.
Yeah.
You know
what I was going to say is Jennifer has a husband that was notorious for fucking with people. So
notorious.
Yeah, I mean, I was never intimidated by him personally, but
I don't even think it's well. So Russ McIntyre, who's a guy in our class, a good friend of mine, he was a new boy at Engine 5, which is, for all intents and purposes, it's Josh's house, but it's the worst engine to be on in the fucking city.
I mean, they make 5,000 runs a year.
It's fucking ridiculous, and it's bullshit. They never make fires. It's all bullshit runs. He was there with, and you'll know these names, Jimmy Rogers, Vic Corfage, John Seidler, Bud I.
These are professionals at fucking with you.
Professionals fucking with you for 24 fucking hours of the day. Because you don't sleep in Engine 5 Tower 2 for the most part.
They're up all day.
You're up all day and a lot of the night. So, I mean, I don't even want to call it that generation. That era of house firefighter, that's gone. You'll never have that again because the level of hazing and shit that they gave new people or people that fucked up is just nuclear. Like you can't even. That's not even a scale that's appropriate for any type of measurement.
Unfortunately.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
Unfortunately.
You mean we can't have that era back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
1,000% agree.
Because some guys need it, you know. I mean, they really do.
Sure. I mean, and like me, I needed it.
They talk about, like, you talk shit about the pension and you're in the union and all that stuff. And in a way, it's a good thing because it gives those shitty guys an opportunity to leave. They don't have to stick around for a good pension.
That's why I left. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about
the fucking leave and take their 401k and go somewhere else.
Sure.
I mean, it sounds shitty, but it's fucking true. I mean,
you're right. It is true.
Leave. It's probably within the last 5, 6, 7 years.
But that's why you're getting the caliber of recruit that you're getting too. That's why you had 3 guys quit the first week of Drill Academy this year. Now, granted, they weren't Louisville guys, but, you know, this ain't for me. Well, what the fuck did you think this was going to be? You know what I mean? Like, it's better they quit now, but still, they took a spot from somebody that may have wanted just to be a fucking fireman.
I think they actually backfilled those guys, though. So
what's that?
I think they actually pulled guys off the list to put them back in.
Okay, good. No, that's good.
City didn't do that, but I think PRP did.
Good. Yeah, well, I don't know how many they hired anyway. It probably wasn't that many. So,
I don't know, man. I mean, that's where I came in, and that's where I started my fire service. And I mean, that's a good fire. I mean, I know we make fun of county guys, but I mean that's a good fire department. They make a solid level of fire activity. I mean,
right. Pat said that's been the norm in the last 4 classes.
They're huge. I mean, they have a huge district, you know, and it's a good fire department. I would never talk bad about PRP. I talk bad about a lot of other the county departments, but PRP's got some really solid dudes there, you know. I mean, and I'm not saying it because that's where I came from. They just really do.
Right. No, that's. I mean, and now they have, like I said, one of our. As far as colonels go, I think he's probably one of the most highly respected colonels in my career. He's their chief now, so I mean, I'm sure he's bringing good things to that, you know, to that department. Sounds like he is.
He's not watching.
Some issues to work out because I've heard about it. What's that?
I see he's not watching. You can quit talking now.
Who? Rectamwall?
Yeah, he's not watching.
Oh, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. I give him props because he deserves props. You know what I mean? Like, he was a good dude, and he was smart, and I had the honor of sitting in front of him in negotiations. And as far as that goes, you know, you can see a lot, and I've seen a lot of colonels that have a lot of people have them in high regard. I've seen a lot of colonels sit across in that negotiation table, try to take money out of your fucking pocket. And I thought, wow, I wonder if the fucking group that talks about you so fucking heavily would love to hear this shit. You know, Rectum Wall, never, not once. If they asked him to explain something to the city officials that were basically in charge of our money, something fire department related that they knew absolutely nothing about, like our vacation pics and all that shit, you know, he would respond. Other than that, he kept his fucking mouth shut. We would trade notes because I always took notes. He'd take notes. He'd be like, hey, man, last week, did you get this? And I'm like, yeah, no, it's right here, you know. So had much respect for fucking Colonel Rectenwall. Good dude. Well, fuck, man, we've almost went 2 hours talking about this fucking shit.
We should. It's important.
It is important.
Is anybody even listening anymore? No questions?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we've got a bunch more comments.
Get a couple of them, we'll close it out.
Okay. Ali Thomas said, what's up? What's up? What's up, bro?
Fucking cop now, man.
Fucking cop. Pig.
Yeah. We're talking to
Fuck
cops.
you, pig.
I saw, he may answer it, but I saw they had like their driving course set up at the, like next to Broadbent Arena. I bet that's a good time.
Oh, I bet it is.
Oh yeah. If I don't want to be a cop, but I would like to do that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of shit.
If you can get us in, Ollie, if you're listening, which I know you don't have any pull because you're like a brand new guy, but I'd like to get in a car.
He's the president of his class, though.
What's that mean?
Means like when somebody fucks up,
like he tweets all the
instructors go to him and he's got to take care of it. They have a little different structure.
That's good to hear that a good fireman goes in the police department and
they call him Cap. He said some other cops call him Cap. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, he's a good dude, man. He's a good fireman.
So Brandon has a comment. It says the stigma has to change. All men and ladies put their pants on the same way. Some people who you think would be the worst are in fact the best you've ever seen, and vice versa. One never knows until rounds fly down range. There's a lot to be said to that.
He knows there's more than two genders, right? Oh, come on.
Yeah, there's 90
17,
something.
I think 17 is the number. Now.
There's 17. There's 17 genders.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, Brandon.
Them all.
Yeah. You know, I would like to refer to your comment, but it would make me, I don't know, xenophobic or some shit. If I don't. No.
Yeah, I assume he's getting at like Mike Tyson. You know, you got to plan until you get hit in the mouth. You know, and it's
right.
Like,
no, that's exactly what he's saying.
Can you adapt or can you not?
That's exactly what he's saying. And again, I hate to keep bringing me up, but I feel like
you're good at that.
There was a lot of people that thought that of me. You know,
there are a lot of people who still think that of you.
There's still people who think that of me, and that's fair, I guess, too.
You just didn't want to say it until you retired.
I mean, it's true. I mean, I stayed down in the first for a long time for a reason. I like to think I did a pretty good job.
How long were you down there?
13 years.
Okay, I told somebody 12 the other day.
It's 12. So me and Shannon figured it up. It was 12 years and 10 months. I rounded it up to 13.
I was 20. You were 12.
Yeah.
So good day.
Yeah, and again, I spent my first 7 I spent my first 6 in the 4th.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's not your fault. I mean,
it wasn't. It wasn't my fault. But to Brandon's point, I was a dude that probably people thought I was the worst. You know what I mean? But when the first round fly down range, I feel like I proved myself. And
well, you were lucky you had a captain that realized not necessarily that you were the worst, but that you were in a position that you needed to prove yourself, not only to the guys, but to yourself. I mean, anybody that's been out at a company, and say you spend 10 years at the busiest, company with a heavy fire duty, and you go somewhere for 5 years. I mean, you got some catching up to do. I mean, you really do. And luckily you had a captain that realized the position you were in, and he not only did his company a service, but he did you a service as well.
1,000%.
You could have had a shitty captain that was just like, hey man, welcome. There's your locker. There's your bunk.
That's it.
You're cooking every third day.
Yep.
Leave me alone.
Right. Yeah. And we both know, unfortunately, there's a lot more captains like that than vice versa.
Yeah, there's leadership problems at
For sure.
some, but
For sure, which I blame the fire department on that, but that may be a topic for another show. Guys, we've went an hour and 55 minutes. Again, to Josh's point, we got on a good subject, and it deserves probably further examination. You guys have been fantastic. I know a lot of you, most of you, are in the fire service or were in the fire service that commented. This is the kind of fucking show. I'm fucking ecstatic right now. I know you can't fucking tell it because I'm halfway drunk, but I'm ecstatic right now because this is the kind of show that I envisioned for Josh and I to have. These types of conversations with you all chiming in, giving your comments, giving your experience, asking your questions is exactly what I wanted for the fucking Alpha Bro show. So thank you, everybody that showed up tonight, that watched, that commented, that had questions, that had something to say. Sorry I didn't get to everybody. There was a several tonight, which, again, fantastic. I'm ecstatic. And, dude, so on a personal note, really glad you're back. Missed you.
I'm glad Phil's gone, honestly.
Yeah.
Hey, for people that are out there, I've worked with Phil several shifts, and I don't think I've ever heard his fucking voice.
Can't believe that. That's so funny.
I've heard him eat chow, but I've never heard him talk. And I click on one of the podcasts, and the motherfucker out-talked Travis, which is almost impossible. Impossible. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I was like, I got to get this guy out of here. There can't be two Travises.
There'd be a 4-hour podcast, and we would all never get to say everything we wanted to say.
No, he was supposed to be on, but he got overtime tonight, right?
Yeah, that's true. Because I think originally I promoted the show as all three of us, which it would have been really great. Which I'm curious to see what Phil does now with two senior guys in the podcast. I got a feeling Phil's going to kind of go in his shell a little bit and speak when spoken to, which he should.
He's watching right now, but he's not commenting because he's falling apart. He's like, man, I'm outclassed. Right. These guys aren't talking about politics. He's like, Josh doesn't know shit about politics. I guarantee it.
Right. But it'd be great to get Phil's, with Phil only having a few years on, and he's at a great house.
He is really good.
To get his perspective on things, but we'll have Phil back on. Trust me, don't worry. We'll have Phil back on. But glad you're back, man. This is exactly, again, when I envisioned the show, this is exactly what I envisioned was tonight. So, hail victory to you, Brandon. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Josh, next week, Wednesday?
Probably not.
Look,
I have to do this like every time. No, man, I'm good. I'm clear. Yeah, I got to open.
All right. Cool,
I can do all day.
Wednesday sounds like Alpha Bro Wednesday. What's that?
I can do all day. We can start at noon.
Okay.
All right.
We'll start noon. We're going to do a marathon. And
I'm good for Wednesday. 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever Phil can do if he wants to jump on.
Yeah.
He does karate or something. Does he do karate or does his kids do karate?
His kids do karate.
Okay, I was going to say. He's like Dewan at my firehouse. I'm like, he's black. You don't do karate? Black guys don't do karate.
Yeah, they do. They do. A lot of them do kung fu.
Kung fu?
Yeah, I think Wu-Tang.
I don't know no kung fu movie with a black dude.
I don't know.
Anyway,
hey, I got a buddy that runs a kung fu school. I'm gonna have him on the show as well. I think he'd be a great guest as well. Well, hey, we'll see. And he's a white guy, so we don't know. But Phil and Josh Josh is definitely coming back, of course. But I hope to have Phil on too, because I think it would be a good roundtable discussion. And again, guys, if you have any questions, fire department or whatever related for us, the ABS crew, please send them to us. Send them Facebook. You can email me, instant message, whatever. And we'll definitely talk about them on the show and give you a shout out as well. So guys, with that, have a great, fantastic rest of your week. Be fucking safe. And remember, guys, always, always, always strive to be alpha. See you guys. Peace.
I would rebuttal that. Don't be safe. Like, break rules and take chances.
There you go.
You'll get more awards that way.
Holy shit. You just had a very good closing statement that wasn't 40 minutes long.
Good night.
I'm fucking ecstatic right now.